Small landlords in Los Angeles say that their homes have been stolen from them by the city's eviction moratorium. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. Alright, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's going over the city of LA, the fact that they still have an eviction moratorium going on, okay? And obviously, I hate eviction moratoriums. I think they are essentially unconstitutional taking of private property for public use without just compensation. And I don't give a darn what they say about, oh, well, the rental assistance. No, that is not just compensation, okay? It doesn't cover all the landlord's expenses. It doesn't even pay 100% of the back rent owed by the tenants, okay? So how exactly is that just compensation? It's not. Okay, so these eviction moratoriums are 100% unconstitutional in my opinion. And they should be banned, okay? The Supreme Court should have said, hey, eviction moratoriums, not only the federal ones, right, but the state ones as well, are 100% unlawful. And we need to get rid of them all immediately because everyone who has one in place right now is going, they are subject to lawsuits, okay? And they will lose. Oh man, it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, while every other state and almost every major municipality has ended their official eviction moratoriums, Los Angeles is dragging their feet, okay? And the worst part about it is, it seems like they are going to continue to extend it on into infinity, okay? It will never end. And this is a nightmare for anyone who owns property within the city limits. Oh man, before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. How long do you think the Los Angeles eviction moratorium will last? Another year, another 2 years, another 3 years, or infinity. Okay, I honestly believe that once you give the tenants this sort of a handout, it is very, very difficult to take it away. There's going to be a huge amount of protest. There's going to be a ton of people trying to stop you from, oh, well, these people will lose their homes. They're still suffering under the pandemic. I'm like, dude, the pandemic was in March of 2020. It is literally going into August of 2022 right now. Okay, we are almost 2.5 years in. Okay, we're almost 2.5 years in. And, the economy has reopened for every other sector, for every other, market and business in the country. But for some reason, they think the landlords can go ahead and take these losses indefinitely. Well, that is a bunch of garbage, okay? And they need to end it right now. Whew! This stuff makes me hot because, it hits home knowing that, hey, they can take away your rights so easily and for whatever they deem necessary. Okay, so what's the next thing going to be? Oh, well, there is a climate catastrophe going on. So we're going to prevent you from collecting any rent until the climate is fixed, which is, it'll never be fixed. Oh, man. Anyway, let's get into this article. It's coming from cbsnews.com, and it says, our home has been stolen from us. Landlords call for an end to LA's eviction moratorium. Yeah, and their homes have essentially been stolen from them by the city in order to give for free to the tenants. So let's get into it and see what this article says. Property owners in the city of Los Angeles are pleading with the city council to lift its pandemic-related eviction moratorium. At a news conference at City Hall, landlords say the moratorium could push some of them into bankruptcy and foreclosure because it doesn't allow them to collect rent, and some of their tenants are taking advantage of the situation. Our home has been stolen from us so that tenants, one of whom owns a DeLorean, can go to Burning Man and rent yachts for birthday parties and sail up in hot air balloons, property owner Liz Reckert said. Our home has been stolen from us, not by our tenants, but by the overly broad policies created under Mayor Eric Garcetti and upheld by the majority of our city council. Yeah, the policies are too broad. In fact, the policies in general shouldn't even exist. Whether they're too broad or not, it doesn't even take into consideration that people can take advantage of the situation and screw a landlord over. There is no method that a landlord could petition to say, hey, this tenant is committing fraud against me, so they don't deserve these protections. There's no way for a landlord to do that. So basically they are stuck with this tenant not paying rent, collecting that extra money, putting it in their pocket, living for free off of the backs of a landlord. Okay, and this is a nightmare. It is an absolute nightmare. So what you have is, you have tenants who don't qualify for rental assistance, right? Yet they are protected by the eviction moratorium. Now, how does that work out? Okay, the tenant doesn't qualify for rental assistance, but is protected by the eviction moratorium. How does that work? Oh, these poor, helpless tenants, there's nothing, there's no jobs anywhere. There's 100% unemployment. No, okay? You've been out of work too long. It has nothing to do with the pandemic. You're just taking advantage of a landlord. You're stealing from them by not paying rent, okay? You're stealing their property from them and forcing them to go into financial distress, okay? Like this, they said right there, this could lead to foreclosure and bankruptcy in some situations, especially for the small mom and pop landlords who maybe own 1-2 properties, okay? Imagine, okay, you own one rental house and your tenant stops paying rent. Now, you have your own house that you live in that you have to still pay your mortgage on, and you have to pay the mortgage on this property where your tenant is staying as well. Now, unless you suddenly, doubled your pay, it might not even be possible for you to afford to pay 2 mortgages at the same time. And no matter what they say, you should have some sort of emergency reserve, right? But who the heck plans for 2 or 3 years worth of emergency reserves just in case, you have to pay double mortgages? Nobody. So the best option for some people will be to just, sell those properties, or, they might just lose them in foreclosure. Okay. This is horrible. This is disastrous. And this was happening all over the country. Now, for these few places where the eviction moratoriums are still going on, it still is happening. And even in places where they've ended the eviction moratorium, they've thrown in ridiculous eviction protections that prevent landlords from removing a lot of tenants still. And that's why, this hasn't ended. I've been covering this stuff for well over a year, and it just amazes me that it's still going on. California's eviction moratorium, instituted during the pandemic to help renters who lost their jobs, expired on June 30th. But the city of LA extended its moratorium until August of next year. Wow. So LA extended its eviction moratorium until August of 2023. That's another full year after right now. So, what do they expect people to do? Really? What do they expect us to do? Take out a second mortgage on our house so that we can pay our bills? What? Go get a second job? I have to go get a second job because my tenant doesn't want to work? It's stupid. Okay, and when they open the courts back up, and this is one of the worst problems, right? And this is what happened up in New Jersey, right? When they open the courts back up, all the courts are going to be backlogged. Okay, they're going to be backlogged, full of cases of evictions that they've been waiting to file, or of evictions that haven't been fully processed yet due to all of this nonsense. And so it will still be months on end before a landlord is able to get the tenant out of their property, even after August of 2023. So yeah, this is nightmare situation for the landlords involved, and there's really not much that they can do other than maybe sue, hope that there's some sort of a workaround, like if you're going completely out of the rental business, then you can. I don't know. I really don't know what the options are for landlords up in LA. I hope that the landlords there are able to hold on, and if you are able to hold on and you're a small landlord and you went through this sort of disaster, my suggestion to you is just get out. Just sell. If you have a single family house, just sell it. If you have a multi-family, sell to another landlord who maybe is, a little bit bigger and able to weather the storm a little bit better than you, because you're just in an awful situation and there's pretty much nothing, that the government for that city is going to do to help you.